Hello, y'all. This is Prime Tron Zero, and I want to make a shout out to all my subscribers, and I just want to say God bless you all. And today I'm doing the Transformers review about the character Drift. Now, Drift made his first Transformers appearance in Transformers G1. He made his appearance in Transformers Generation 1. Now, I think he made his appearance in a G1 comic. They also have a G1 toy of him. I don't think he was in the G1 series. He was in a comic book though, and he was like a white color. And in the comic book, he looked kind of similar to Ratchet a little bit. Instead of he wasn't as big as Ratchet. But his design was really cool, He had swords. That was one thing about Drift. He was always good with swords. And he's a cool character. And he had an off mode. He transformed into a white car, you know what I mean? And he was called Drift. He was very skilled. He was a skilled warrior with swords. He had like two swords, katana blades, and he was no joke. He would cut a Decepticon down with his swords, He was no joke. He was very vicious, and he was no joke. But he made his first appearance in Transformers Generation 1, especially the comic book, and he looked kind of similar to Ratchet, his the G1 version. But he also made his appearance in Transformers, I think it was Transformers Animated. He also made an appearance in Transformers live action movies. And I have to say that he looks a little more different than his G1 counterpart in the live action movies. He has sort of more of a samurai look to him. But I really like his design. Not just the G1 design, but I love his design in the Transformers live action movies, Now, he made his first appearance in Transformers Age of Extinction. And I really love his design. He was like a blue and black color. And he had like a samurai look to him. And I just love his design. It was just so unique. And it looked like he had like a sort of like a bit of a hair, like he had like a mustache or something, but he looks like a samurai, and he was very skilled with swords, just like his G1 counterpart. He was like a great warrior, and that's what I like about him, and and I just like the person that did his voice. They made his character come to life, and he was very skilled, and he was always meditating. And he was just no joke. He even threw down with Bumblebee. He got with Bumblebee, Him and Bumblebee threw down. He got with Bumblebee, and he's in Age of Extinction, his live action movie. In the live action movies, he's a blue color in Age of Extinction, and he transforms into a Pagadi Pharaon. And I love his vehicle mode. I love his off mode, And what's so cool and unique about the live action movie Drift is he's a triple changer. He also can take the form of a helicopter. And his swords becomes the propellers. His swords becomes the helicopter, not the propellers, but the swords becomes the thing that, becomes a part of the helicopter that makes it, which is really cool. I think that's what's so cool about the live action. That's one of the things I really love about the live action movie Drift. He's a triple changer, and he has three modes. He has his robot mode, he has his vehicle mode, and he has his mode when he transforms into a helicopter. You know what I mean? And he's very skilled. He's very, he's no joke with swords. He'll cut a Decepticon down. My fault, y'all. He'll cut a Decepticon down with his blades. With his swords. And he's no joke. He's vicious. And, he's very vicious. And I have to say, he's definitely one of my favorite Autobot characters. He's a great warrior. He's very tough. He's very agile, and he's just very quick. You know what I mean? They don't call him Drift for no reason. He's a great warrior. He's a brave soldier. He's very tough. He's always ready to fight. You know. He even threw down with Bumblebee. He got with Bumblebee. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I could say about Drift. He's no joke. And them swords that he has is, I wouldn't want to be a Decepticon. Dealing with him. He's no joke. He's very strong, you know what I mean? And he has like a samurai look to him. Now, he made his appearance in Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. He also made his appearance in Transformers The Last Knight. Now, in Transformers The Last Knight, his design is a little more different. He still has the samurai look to him, but he has a different color skin. He's more like a red. And he also has a different off mode. He takes the form of, I think it's like a Mercedes or something. He transforms into a black and red car. He has a different off mode than his Age of Extinction. Than how he looked in Age of Extinction. He has a different off mode. He doesn't transform us into a Pagani Pharaon, And The Last Knight, he has a different vehicle mode, and he has a different color skin. He's like a different color. He's red, Which I like both of his designs in Transformers The Last Knight and Age of Extinction, you know what I mean? And one of my favorite parts is him and Crosshairs took out Onslaught, you know what I mean? He took out Onslaught. He messed Onslaught up, you know what I mean? He just messed him up with his swords, you know what I mean? And that was an awesome action part, that shows how skilled he is. And there's the one part that he was meditating, he was on his swords, and one of the baby Dinobots was flying by him. It was it was one of them, and he ended up attacking it. He just, that part was funny. He ended up attacking it with one of his swords. It was really funny. Yeah. And one of my favorite parts of Age of Extinction is where they show him on the mountain, and that's when he realized he's seen Optimus. And he says Optimus is alive. He is like, we're saved. And then they show him transform into his helicopter mode for the first time. And I was like, man, that part is just so epic. And it's just so classic too, And one of my other favorite parts is when he be fighting the Decepticon drones, and Grimlock be behind him, and then they show him hold up his sword really high. And they show Grimlock at the same time blow fire out his mouth. That part at the end, the Age of Extinction, the epic battle is just amazing, The epic part is just so, I really love that part. That part is amazing, It's definitely one of my favorites, That part is so epic, He hold his sword up very high, and at the same time they show Grimlock blow fire out his mouth. And they show Cade. That part is classic, And he's no joke. He be cutting down a lot of Decepticons in his path, you know what I mean, in his wake. He's no joke. And I just love the fact that he's a triple changer, and I just love his samurai mode in the live action movies. Now, I also like his G1 counterpart, which his G1 counterpart looks a little more like Ratchet. He has sort of like that same design as Ratchet. He's just a little smaller, but just like his live action movie counterpart, he's a great warrior. He's great with swords. You know what I mean? He doesn't have like a samurai look to him really that much. He has a little bit of a different vehicle mode. He's more like a all white color. But I love both designs. I love the G1 design, but I also love the Transformers live action movie Drift, because I just love how he has the samurai look to him, that unique design, and that's something that gets overlooked, the people that do the voice of the robots in the movies, also the robots' designs are so unique in how they transform, and I just love how he transforms when they run up in the KSI lab and they show him transform into a helicopter really quick, and he helped Bumblebee. Bumblebee was dangling, and he helped him up, and then they show Bumblebee him and Bumblebee end up flying up, and then Bumblebee end up kicking the wall, kicking the glass, and then they show Bumblebee reach his hand out, and then Kate Yeager. That's how Kate Yeager escaped. The KSI. Escaped the headquarters. And that part was very epic in my opinion. It was just awesome. The part when they showed him running in there, Optimus, the Autobots charging, and when they show him transform into a helicopter really quick. I just love that part. That part was awesome. I love his helicopter mode, and I have to say I love his design. It's so unique, and I just love that. One of my favorite parts is at the end of Age of Extinction 2, is when Optimus was going head to head with Grimlock, with the Dinobots. He was testing them, and Drift, took off his hat to Optimus Prime. He gave him a lot of respect. He was like, "No, that's Optimus Prime." He was telling Crosshairs, "No, that's our leader. That's Optimus Prime. He's not afraid of anybody." And he was taking off his hat because he's a warrior too, and he loves to fight. So I love that part. He was like, "No, that's Optimus Prime." They show his face. I love that part. It's just so classic. And I really love Drift. I also like the fact that in The Last Knight he was a part of history. He was with the humans during the World War. World War II. You know what I mean? He was part of history. And that was really cool. You know what I mean? And it also explains how he got sort of his look too, the samurai look, because he was fighting with the other samurais, the human samurais. So I like that. I also like the fact that he has sort of like the Chinese sort of that look to him. I like that. That part was really cool. I like how he looks like that, and I just love his design. And I love how he just have that samurai, that warrior look to him. He's very strong. He's very wise. And he's just a skilled warrior. He's no joke. He's somebody that, you want to come across, because he has 2 swords, and he's very skilled, and he's not afraid to use his swords. He's very tough. He's very agile. He's athletic, and I just love his design. I love his Age of Extinction design, and I love his Last Knight design. I love his G1 design too. But his designs is awesome. But most of all, I just love his live action movie design. I love that samurai look to him. And I like how they took some of that concept from the G1 version of him, and they put that in the movie, and it's awesome that we got a glimpse of him in the live action movies. It's cool that we got him on the big screen, to get to see him on the big screen, and get to see him with the swords, and and to get to see him. And I think it's awesome that they made him a triple changer, because I think in G1 he wasn't a triple changer. He just had 2 forms. But in the live action movie, and Age of Extinction and The Last Knight, he was a triple changer. He just had 2 different color skins. He was black and blue. He was blue and black, and he had a different off mode, and then he also was red. He had a red color skin. And G1, he was all white. He looked more similar to Ratchet, He looked a little more like Ratchet, like he had sort of like that same, like how Ratchet looked in Transformers Prime, and how Ratchet looked in G1, how Ratchet was like white, Yeah, he had sort of that look to him. But his live action movie, I love how they made him look more samurai. He had that samurai look to him, which was so unique. And his design, in my opinion, is definitely one of my favorite designs. And his design is different from any other Transformer. I love how it's like they spend a lot of time and effort to make him look really just magnificent, like really awesome,